Imagine waking up to a sky that's no longer blue but a deep, furious red, like the world itself is bleeding. The birds are silent, your phone doesn't work, satellites are tumbling from orbit, and the power grid has collapsed. No internet, no electricity, no warning, just chaos. Humanity is staring into the burning eyes of the sun, and this time it's not giving life, it's taking it. Welcome to the final countdown, the day the sun will kill us. This isn't science fiction. This is scientific inevitability. The sun, the very star that gave birth to life on Earth, has always been both our creator and potential destroyer. And while we bask under its warm rays, few of us realize just how close we are to the edge of solar catastrophe. Our clock is ticking, and the countdown to solar doom has already begun. To understand the danger, you have to start at the heart of our solar system. A massive, 4.6 billion-year-old nuclear reactor, burning 600 million tons of hydrogen every second. It seems eternal, but it's not. The sun is evolving, and that evolution is not in our favor. Right now, it's stable, sitting in what astronomers call the main sequence phase of its life. But this phase won't last forever. As the sun burns through its hydrogen reserves, it's slowly growing hotter and brighter. You won't notice it tomorrow, but in a billion years Earth will. The rising solar output will scorch our planet, boil our oceans, and render life as we know it extinct. And long before that, we might be wiped out by something far more immediate, a solar storm so powerful it could plunge the entire planet into darkness within minutes. Let's rewind to 1859. It's the dawn of the telegraph age, and suddenly, the world is struck by a cosmic punch, the Carrington Event. A massive solar flare erupts from the sun, hurling a cloud of charged particles at Earth. Telegraph lines catch fire. Aurora borealis lights up the skies as far south as the Caribbean. It was beautiful and terrifying. If that same event happened today, it wouldn't just fry telegraph wires. It would annihilate satellites, destroy power grids, and collapse global communications in seconds. Back in 2012, a similar-sized coronal mass ejection, or CME, just missed Earth by, well, a cosmic hair, barely 9 days. If it had hit us, the world might have been plunged into a technological dark age, costing trillions and taking decades to recover. So why don't we hear more about this? Well, it's because solar storms are invisible until they strike. The sun is constantly emitting solar wind, a stream of charged particles. But sometimes it unleashes something far worse. A CME, which is basically a colossal blob of magnetized plasma barreling through space at millions of miles per hour. If Earth happens to be in its path, our magnetic field takes the hit. Satellites are knocked offline. GPS becomes useless. Airplanes lose navigation. Power grids overload and fail. And within just a few hours, modern civilization is on its knees. Hospitals go dark, banking systems collapse, refrigeration dies, food spoils, cities descend into panic. Think it's unlikely? Well, experts actually say we're overdue. In fact, the sun follows an 11-year cycle of activity, and when it peaks, the chance of a devastating CME skyrockets. And here's the thing, we're heading into that peak right now. But here's the twist, that's just the opening act. Because even if we dodge the bullet this decade, the sun's long-term death spiral is, well, unavoidable. Fast forward a few billion years, Earth's surface will become uninhabitable. As hydrogen runs out, the sun will expand into a red giant swallowing Mercury and Venus. Then it will reach Earth. Our blue planet, once teeming with life, will be consumed in fire. Even the bones of our civilization, our satellites, our skyscrapers, our monuments, will melt into cosmic dust. Nothing will survive. And yet the real terror lies in the centuries before that final engulfing. Long before Earth is devoured, the rising heat will shatter the delicate balance of our atmosphere. The oceans will evaporate into steam. Carbon dioxide will dominate the skies. A runaway greenhouse effect will transform Earth into a second Venus. a smoldering, lifeless hellscape with surface temperatures hot enough to melt lead. We'll choke before we burn. The only escape? Get off the planet. Scientists know this. Elon Musk knows this. That's why honestly we're racing toward Mars, not because it's a better home, but because Earth is on borrowed time. Space colonization isn't a luxury anymore, it's a necessity. But the truth is, Mars may buy us time, not salvation. When the sun turns red giant, it will destroy the entire inner solar system. Any colony within that blast radius is doomed. So maybe the answer isn't Mars, maybe it's Proxima Centauri b, or some yet undiscovered exoplanet orbiting a stable, long-lived red dwarf. The problem? We can't get there, not yet. The distances are staggering. Our fastest spacecraft would take tens of thousands of years. Unless we crack fusion propulsion, wormholes or generation ships, we're trapped in a burning house we can't escape. Still think the sun is a friendly neighbor? Well, it's more like a ticking time bomb. And honestly, the signs are already here. Solar flares are disrupting aviation. Geomagnetic storms are rattling satellite systems. Increased radiation is even threatening astronauts aboard the International Space Station. Even the James Webb Space Telescope, which is basically our eye to the distant universe, could be blinded by a major solar event. Every launch, every satellite, every digital service we rely on, yeah, it's all a gamble. Because one day, one rogue flare, one coronal mass ejection, one unlucky alignment, and everything changes. And well, there's more. Scientists are beginning to question if the sun might have more tricks up its sleeve. What if the sun isn't as stable as we think? There's evidence from distant stars, sun-like twins, that sometimes they go berserk, releasing superflares thousands of times more powerful than anything we've seen. If our sun did that, it would strip away the ozone layer, expose us to lethal ultraviolet radiation, and potentially sterilize the surface of the planet. And yet, despite all this, we're still not prepared. Most nations have no infrastructure to survive even a moderate solar storm. Power grids aren't shielded, satellites aren't hardened, emergency protocols are outdated. It's as if we're sailing into a storm with no sails, no compass, and no clue. Why? Because solar threats are silent killers. They don't announce themselves, they don't leave craters or shockwaves. They simply arrive and erase. In minutes, your city could go dark, and you wouldn't even know why. But maybe there's a sliver of hope. Some scientists are exploring sunshields, giant structures in space to deflect sunlight. Others propose magnetic force fields around Earth, like artificial magnetospheres to protect against coronal mass ejections. There's even talk of engineering the sun itself, seeding it with materials to stabilize its fusion reactions. Sounds insane? So did landing on the moon. So did splitting the atom. If humanity survives the next few centuries, it won't be because we fled the sun's wrath. It'll be because we stared into the fire and found a way to tame it. Still, let's not kid ourselves. The sun doesn't care about us. It didn't create us with purpose, and it won't mourn us when we're gone. It will burn and grow and die on its own schedule. And long after we're ashes in the solar wind, it will collapse into a white dwarf, a cold, dead ember in a forgotten corner of the galaxy. All our history, all our achievements, everything we ever were, gone without a whisper. That's the endgame, not with a bang, not with a war, but with a sunrise that never sets, a sky that melts, and a countdown we never saw until it was too late. So next time you look at the sun, don't just think of warmth and light, think of warning, think of countdown, because this star, this glowing orb we worshipped for millennia, isn't just the source of life, it's the bringer of death. And when the day finally comes, there will be no sirens, no headlines, no time to react, just silence, then light, then nothing. The day the sun will kill us is coming. The only question left is, will we be ready when the countdown hits 0? Or will we be clinging to dying machines, whispering into radios that no longer answer, praying to a sky that's already forgotten our names? Picture it, a planet once alive with buzzing cities and electric dreams now reduced to ghostly ruins beneath an unforgiving firestorm, crops wilting in the heat, oceans churning with steam, the atmosphere itself unraveling molecule by molecule. It won't be a sudden apocalypse, but a slow unraveling, a planetary stroke where each system fails in a perfect domino of collapse. First communication, then transportation, then governance. The sun won't just kill our bodies, it will erase our systems, our order, our illusion of control. And the most terrifying part, we might watch it all happen in real time. Right now, we're building smarter phones, faster networks, AI that mimics thought itself. But none of it matters if the power grid collapses. All this progress, all this brilliance, is built on a fragile web of copper wires and orbiting satellites that can be undone in a single solar sneeze. It's like building a digital utopia on top of a volcano and pretending the lava will never rise. If the Carrington Event taught us anything, it's that nature doesn't send RSVP cards, it just arrives, violent, unannounced, indifferent. And what if it happens on a global scale? Imagine waking up in New York to blackout chaos only to realize Tokyo, London, Sao Paulo, and Cape Town are already dark. A CME doesn't respect borders. It hits Earth's magnetic field like a cosmic shotgun and the entire planet takes the blow. In hours, global finance ceases to exist. Stock markets vanish. Digital currency evaporates. Planes are grounded. Hospitals run on flickering generators. Food runs out in weeks. Water stops flowing. We'll be yanked back centuries in a matter of days, not because of war or famine, but because the sun blinked. Governments may try to reassure the public with vague statements and emergency task forces, but behind closed doors, many know the truth. Our infrastructure is outdated, our contingency plans are underfunded, and our simulations always end the same way: collapse. The Department of Homeland Security once labeled a severe solar storm as one of the greatest existential threats to the United States. But ask yourself, when was the last time your city ran a solar blackout drill? Some have begun preparing. Quietly, the elite are building underground bunkers, data vaults in granite mountains and, well, sun-proof shelters in remote areas. Tech billionaires fund research into space-based energy grids and deep space travel, not just because it's the next frontier, but because Earth may no longer be a long-term investment. Meanwhile, the average person scrolls TikTok under a sky that could erase their world before the next swipe. Still, there's a haunting irony in all of this. For most of human history, we revered the sun. Ancient cultures built temples to its power, calendars to its rhythm, myths to its glory. It was Ra, Helios, Surya, the giver of life. And now, in the age of science, we've unmasked it. We know it for what it truly is, a boiling sphere of plasma, indifferent to our worship, capable of benevolence and yeah, obliteration. In the end, it will not be the gods who destroy us, it will be the very star we once called divine. But maybe, just maybe, that knowledge is our key to survival. Because the countdown is not just a warning, it's an invitation. To adapt, to evolve, to escape. If we can channel the will that took us to the moon, the resolve that split the atom, the vision that mapped the genome, then perhaps we can outrun the fire. Perhaps we can become more than a footnote in the sun's obituary. Perhaps we can earn the right to write our own. And if we fail, if we let complacency seduce us, then we'll leave behind nothing more than scorched earth, shattered satellites, and a whisper in the dust. Maybe one day a probe from a distant civilization will pass our charred planet and wonder what kind of species once lived here. They'll find silicon shards, crumbling statues, faded records of a people who dreamed of gods, touched the stars, and were burned by their own. So remember this, the sun does not owe us tomorrow. It does not promise another day. The countdown isn't about fear, it's about urgency. It's about waking up before the sky turns red. It's about realizing that the final warning might not come with flames, but with silence. A blank screen, a dead signal, a sun that's no longer just rising, but raging. We still have time. Not much, not forever, but enough. Enough to look up and see the threat, not as mythology or metaphor, but as reality. Enough to build, to shield, to prepare. Enough to survive. Because the day the sun will kill us is not a question of if, it's a question of when. And now the countdown